Welcome, you're watching Vox News, your daily news updates with Rita Kamkumo. Our headlines today: the death toll from Saturday's terrorist attack in Niger has climbed to 100. South Africa hopes to begin vaccinating its population against coronavirus next month. The Teachers' Union in the United Kingdom demands the closure of schools that reopened this Monday as COVID-19 cases spiral. Our top story today: the death toll from a deadly terrorist attack that took place in Niger over the weekend climbed to 100 on Sunday. The Nigerian authorities initially reported that the attacks left 56 civilians dead and 20 injured. 25 civilians were reportedly evacuated to the cities of Niamey and Walam for treatment after terrorists attacked the southwestern villages of Chombangu and Zarumdareye near the Malian border on Saturday. The area has been the target of terrorist organizations based in neighboring Mali since 2017. No group has claimed responsibility for Saturday's attack. On the political front in Niger, the ruling party candidate and former minister Mohamed Bazoum won the first round of the presidential election on Saturday, according to the Electoral Commission.
The valid votes cast amount to 4,778,573. The valid votes cast are the ones I have just given you, for a participation rate of 69.67%. The votes thus obtained are distributed among the following candidates: Bazoum Mohammed, 1,879,543 votes, or 39.33%. Mohammed Usman, 811,838 votes, or 16.99%. Seini Umaru, 426,623 votes, or 8.95%.
Mohamed Bazoum, the close ally of incumbent President Mahamadou Issoufou, will face former President Mahamadou Ousmane in the 20th of February runoff in the country plagued by a bloody jihadist insurgency. In the Central African Republic, rebel fighters on Sunday seized the southeastern town of Bangassou near the capital Bangui, according to the city's chief of operations for the United Nations peacekeeping mission in the troubled country. The offensive came weeks after rebels, who control 2/3 of the national territory, were accused of an attempted coup, and just a few days before expected results from a tense presidential election held on the 27th of December. On the health front, South Africa, which has been suffering a second wave of the coronavirus pandemic, hopes to source its first vaccine doses next month. Health Minister Zweli Mkhize highlighted on Sunday that before vaccinations can start in the country, negotiations must be concluded with vaccine makers, including Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and with Russian and Chinese laboratories. The country of 59 million inhabitants hopes to vaccinate 67% of its population to achieve sufficient collective immunity to curb the spread of COVID-19. Last week, South Africa became the first African nation to register 1 million coronavirus cases. On the education front, schools in Kenya reopened this Monday after a 9-month disruption caused by the coronavirus pandemic. Although parents were happy to see their children back in school as it gives them more freedom to work, they were also concerned about the virus spreading among students.
As a parent, I'm pleased that the children are back in school, because we were really worried about the pandemic. We really wished for our kids to be back in school, and at the moment we are very happy that our kids are back in school. We really pray that the pandemic ends anytime soon, so that learning learning can go on and our kids cannot come back to our homes. At the moment, we have got a lot of fears because we really don't know if other children in school are having the virus, or even if the teachers are having the virus, or even the support staff in school are having the virus. So we have that fear, but we really hope for the best, and we shall keep on praying for our kids to be safe.
We have stayed with the child for a very long time, like 9 months. There have been a lot of challenges because I am a young parent who has to hustle, and the mom also has to hustle. So we are forced to leave him at home, but know that the schools are open, it's better. We are grateful and we pray for them to be safe because the virus is real.
The Kenyan government announced on Sunday that it had set up a command center to oversee the reopening of schools across the country in a plan involving all stakeholders. On the international scene in Britain, a representative of the National Education Union said on Sunday that the government's decision to reopen most of the primary schools across the country this Monday, the 4th of January, is a mistake as COVID-19 cases are spiraling.
The expert body made it very clear on the 22nd of December that schools are now playing a significant part in the spreading of the infection. And as such, we now consider schools to be unsafe, and that we want all schools to be closed for at least 2 weeks while we see how this virus develops. Some parts of the country, there are very high levels of infection, and those infection levels are not going down. So we think the schools are unsafe for the kids and unsafe for the education workers. Many teachers are very anxious about going back into the workplace because they've seen what's happened in the weeks before Christmas and during the Christmas holiday in infection levels. They don't think that having classes of over 30 as a bubble, or in secondary schools maybe over 200 children in a year group, does enable those schools to operate safely when we're seeing that the new virus is much more transmissible.
Several unions in Britain have told their members not to physically return to classrooms for the time being.
Our decision to call upon members not to return to schools physically, in most cases, is based on the science, and we think that the situation does need to be reviewed regularly, and we will follow the science. When the science says it's safe for education staff to return to schools, we will absolutely support that.
About 1 million 4 to 11-year-olds will learn remotely after the British government announced that primary schools in London, where coronavirus case rates are particularly high, would remain closed. Prime Minister Boris Johnson, however, encouraged parents elsewhere to send their young children back to school.
Frankly, it feels very inept to us in terms of what is being decided by the government at a national level. So we're very disappointed about that, and we don't think that it demonstrates a real care or understanding for ensuring that education during this pandemic can be maintained in a safe manner.
Prime Minister Boris Johnson said that public health experts had highlighted the long-term health and social costs of children being kept out of school. Meanwhile, in Britain, the rollout of the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine began this Monday. 82-year-old Brian Pinker, a dialysis patient, became the first to receive the new jab, described as a triumph for British science by Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Last but not least, on the football scene, Premier League coaches Frank Lampard and Pep Guardiola reacted on Sunday following Manchester City's 3-1 victory at Stamford Bridge.
Important is today is not just the results. Of course, it's so important. We are here for the results. It don't nothing, but especially for the display, for the way we played. That helps us to understand again each other. What is the way we have to play? To try it. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. You try it, and the players, they did really well.
Lampard admitted that his players will have to go through periods of pain to reach the standards set by Manchester City.
I'm not concerned on that point, a bit being relaxed about whether we can have peaks or troughs. I've just spoken a lot after the game there about where we're at. I expected periods of difficulties this year. I said it when we beat Leeds and everyone was championing us to be title contenders. I know that it doesn't come that easy. I know where we're at. Whether it puts pressure on me or not is, it's regardless, because 1 month ago everyone's asking me when I'll sign a new contract, and now people will be saying different things because in quick succession over a tight, busy period, we've lost 4 games of football. So the pressure remains constant in this job, and you know that in tough moments that will be there. I didn't get into this job with being unaware of that. I'm not. Well, I'll always feel heat, Andy. I felt heat when we were on our good run, because I know that round the corner can be the negative. And as I said before, we're not a team that's been churning out results and worked to get to a level of Liverpool or City, or actually to a level of teams here that won things years ago in the Roman Abramovich era, but teams that have won things that have prime players, prime top players that are Premier League greats, which is now Kevin De Bruyne and Raheem Sterling are in their prime.
Meanwhile, Guardiola also commented on the COVID-19 regulation breach controversy involving defender Benjamin Mendy on New Year's Eve.
Normally in this society we judge the other ones, and this society will be better in the first to judge the other one, judge ourselves. If we do what we have to do, is that correct? But saying that, I'm pretty sure Benja is going to improve on that. The next time he will be more careful. Of course, it was not correct what he has done, but don't judge him much, because if you look at himself, what we have done in New Year's Eve, many people, so maybe I've done the same. So it's easy, no, to judge the other ones, to express what the other ones. If everyone put the mending intentions for the other ones the same for ourselves, everything would be better.
Sunday's win lifted Manchester City to within 4 points of Liverpool and Manchester United at the top of the table, with a game in hand on both to come. That's it for today. Thank you for watching Vox News.